I'm Simon Ditchburn. I'm the owner and the managing director of the Tudor group of companies. Perhaps you know me from some of my past projects, maybe from Tudor Villas or Tudor Court Condominium, or coming to its completion now, the Cube Condominium. And of course, if you're watching our video blog, you'll be able to see on the building site and behind the scenes of the construction of that project coming up. I've actually quite enjoyed doing those videos to show everybody what I really do. You see, my background is to actually be a builder. I've spent half of my working life on the building sites, and then I've brought that to Thailand. And over the years, I guess, I've managed to build myself up to actually be the developer, which is where I am today. So when I say to people, Thai lifestyle and European standards, I really mean that. I've been able to bring my trade as an English builder into Thailand, and the results of all of that have been building all of our products with insulated walls, cavity walls, UPVC windows, exactly what you would expect in the UK. But of course, I've been building that here in Thailand. I've been doing it for the last 18 years. But I wanted to talk to you this time actually about our current promotions, our sales promotions. I wanted to give it to you from my point of view, being a developer, what I have to do and a little bit of my thinking background of the promotions, of how I put these promotions together, what I have to look at, survey the market basically. And I think with the current market of today, I have probably come up with the same sort of questions that a lot of the buyers have got. Now, you see the market at the moment being absolutely flooded with the rental return properties and the buybacks. I'm sure you've all seen them. They're being promoted absolutely everywhere. And I surveyed that really very carefully to try and get our current promotion of today. And I think really, if I put myself in the position of a buyer, I would probably ask myself four main questions. The first one is, everything that I see out there on the market today, it's a case that a buyer has got to buy the whole condominium unit to actually trigger the rental return. So when you look at it, you've got to buy the whole condo, and let's say that condo is in the value of 5-6 million baht, and the developer is promising you about 10% rental return. I think the first question everybody asks themselves really is that condo really worth 5 or 6 million baht in today's market? So I can see that as being the first question that people ask. The second question I think everybody's asking at the moment is the actual rental return itself. If you've just bought something at 6 million baht and they're offering you 10%, then that means it's going to be a return of 600,000 baht per month, which means they've got to be renting that apartment at more than 50,000 baht a month to actually give the promised return. So you think to yourself, well, are they actually managing to rent at those prices to give that promise? So that was really question number 2, the rate of the rental. Question number 3, I think, when it comes from the developers, where they say about the buyback. They say at the end of the term, whatever the term may be, we will actually buy the product back from you. So if you invested 6 million, they're going to pay you back 6 million at the end of whatever the term. And of course, the question on that one is, well, can they actually do it, or would they actually do it? And then I think the fourth and last question there is probably about the legal. We get questions all the time from buyers. As a foreigner, can I actually buy something in Thailand? Where do I stand legally? So I could see there were 4 different questions. I could see myself. I was asking these questions myself, and I could very much hear that coming from the buyers. So I knew that when I put my promotion together, these were the 4 main items I had to actually address. It had to be the value of the property. It had to be the value of the rental return. It had to be, would they be able to buy it back? And the fourth and last one is looking at the legal terms. So all of this was in my mind when I sat down to make the promotion that we've got there today. So let's address the first question. We looked at it from the point of view of saying, well, why do you have to buy the whole condo? Why do you actually have to buy the whole thing? Why can't you just put down a down payment, a deposit? So it gave people a chance to test this process, to test this promotion. So I came up with basically the try before you buy. So instead of a buyer having to buy the whole unit in one go, he currently only has to pay a 20% deposit, and then he's got to sit back, wait, make sure everything is working, make sure he's comfortable and happy before he goes ahead with the rest of the purchase. It gave new time buyers a chance to test the market. And then if our average down payment of 20% was around 1.3 million, and then we paid them a 10% rental return from what they've given us, the 1.3 million, it meant I only had to find 130,000 a year to physically pay back that rental return. So you're looking at a return to a customer of about 11,000 baht per month. But I've been renting for the last 8-9 years here in Pattaya, and I know that I'm actually receiving 18 to 22,000 a month for our apartments. And on this promotion, I only have to pay the customer 11,000. So you can see if the developer is receiving 18, 22,000 and he's only paying 11,000 to the customer, it makes perfect sense. It all adds up. And if I go back to the question of the value of the apartment, well, nobody has ever paid 6 million baht. They haven't had to buy the whole apartment. They've only had to pay 20%. So now you look at it from the risk point of view. If everything goes wrong to its absolute worst scenario, and a customer has got to get his money back, the customer is only trying to get 20% back. He's never trying to get the entire 6 million back. So this started to all make sense. We were having a promotion on the table, which was clearly a really popular promotion with lots of the other condos. But my maths was really adding up. And it's been successful because I can see that our customers have been able to see that maths really does add up. It makes perfect sense. So then we moved on to the next question really was, well, how would we physically pay the money back at the end of a 5-year trial period? So basically, they've given us now 20%, averaging 1.3 million. That we're giving them back an average of 11,000 baht every month. This is all perfect. So how would we actually give the money back at the end of the 5 years if they wanted the money back? They also have an option. They can buy the unit if they want to at the end of that trial period. But let's look at the point of view that they actually want the money back. Well, it still comes down to this purpose that it's only 20%. We've never dealt with the entire value of the property. We're only ever dealing with a 20%. So from the developer's point of view, this gave me 3 main options of what I can actually do to buy these units back. We would be able to literally take this package as it is, completely as it is, and we would be able to sell that package to somebody else. There's your instant replacement of how the money goes back to the customer in the first place. That was my first option. My second option was I would also be able to sell that property. I could fire sale it at half price. I could sell it at whatever price I wanted to, basically. But we've only ever got to give 20% back to the original customer. So that was an easy scenario and sensible and realistic. I think people can see it. My third option, again, because I've only got to give somebody 20% back, is I could also go to the banks. I could go to MBK, I could go to several different financing and lending facilities there. And when they do their loan to value calculation, maybe they lend me 50% against the property. Once again, we've only got to give 20% back to the customer. So it seemed to tick all of the boxes. It was answering the questions that I had myself about all the promotions on the market there. It was definitely answering all the questions of the customers. We could see what their fears were. And this promotion was really coming together. This was very clever in respect that we could see the niche. We could see where the possibilities were. And hopefully we bring the cares and concerns of the customers to rest. You know, I think the most important thing is the maths adds up. You can see how it physically works. Then, of course, we always come to the question of the legal protection. Well, we, of course, have a legal team. And we don't expect anybody to be able to enter a contract or enter a deal without being able to talk to this legal team. And the legal team will explain to everybody how the foreign ownership works, if that's the direction they want to go. They will also explain things about the Consumer Act. There's a lot of people that don't realise how powerful the Consumer Act is protecting a customer. You see, it doesn't actually matter if you use the Consumer Act for buying a pen or a car or an iPad or a property. The principle is always the same. As soon as somebody enters a contract, so they don't have to buy the whole thing, they have just entered a contract, they're automatically then protected by the Consumer Act. And if anybody knows the rules and regulations of the Consumer Act, they know that when it goes into a court and when it goes to the auctions and whenever they repossess the property, it isn't just the property that they repossess. The Consumer Act literally go after the developer or the seller for anything he may have. They might go after the developer's house or his car or whatever they may go after to physically get the money to pay back the actual buyer, the consumer in the first place. So a lot of people don't realise that. They always look at the condominium laws of Thailand. They don't consider the Consumer Act of Thailand. So it's something that can be explained by our legal team, and then they will bring all of the details over to the buyer. So I hope that gives you a little bit of an idea of what my thinking was when I brought this promotion onto the market. It really was, it was all about bringing an alternative, because everybody tends to do the same here in Thailand. If one has a good idea, everybody else seems to copy. So it was really important for me to bring something totally different to the market, a different angle. But I think most importantly, people could tick the boxes and see that it made sense. So if anybody out there is interested in the promotion, we really only have a few units left. This has been a very successful promotion and it's been selling like hotcakes. It's really done very, very well. We do have a few units left over. I can still put this promotion onto it, absolutely. And if you'd like more details, you can email us at sales@tudorgroupthailand.com, or you can actually come up to the office, and if you'd like to talk to me directly, personally, speak to the developer, the horse's mouth as it were, then you're very welcome to do so. So I'll see you then, and I'll see you next time.